All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And I've been going over a series of videos where I'm creating a body mass index or BMI calculator using the different languages that are taught here at Rankin Technical College. I am on my 8th set of videos where we're going through Android. I had all sorts of problems. I got the original Android app to work, but then I wanted to make some changes, and I made a copy of it, and I had nothing but problems. I fixed it by going through and doing a build, clean project, build, rebuild. Still didn't like it after I did a run, so I did another build, clean, build, rebuild, and it appears to be working now. So I'd like to try to go back in here and make some of those changes, even though I've made them twice already. All right, so I want to come back in here, and in my calculate the BMI, I want to come in here and say declare, not there, I'm sorry, I did it twice now like that. Up at the top here, I want to come in there and say declare global constants and final int min height equals 12 minimum allowable height. Boy, oh boy. And then take this and copy it 6 times. I'm going to get all sorts of errors. That's fine. All right, now I've got to change these values, and of course, let's start by just coming over here and changing the comments. So that'll be the default weight, the maximum allowable weight, the minimum allowable weight, the default height, the maximum allowable height, and the minimum allowable height. Good. So the maximum allowable height is 96. The default height will be 72. Again, these are arbitrary values I came up with. You could always change them if you didn't like them, and put in your own stuff. And I decided to make the default weight. Let's make it 185. How's that? All right. So I've got that. So those are these are in purple because the system, the actual spell check that's in here is grabbing this. Oh, I guess I've done that already. Oh, it might have saved my stuff anyway. So let's see. All right. Oh, good. Then height is default height. I had problems with this. What I wanted to do is I wanted to set the height to the default height. In fact, let's just do this. Let's save. So let's do a save all, and let's try to run this again and see what happens when we run it. Okay. The plan is to fix this up and do some modularizing also. So let's come in here and let's leave them blank. And let's click calculate. Oh, it says that it stopped. Well, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. Now, I think I know what it might be. Yes, it is. It's right here. I've got to change that to 0. That's got to be 0. And then down here, I can say BMI value, because now I'm sure I've got a height and a weight. Sorry about that. We have to go over the entire program when we're done. I think that's just makes some sense to do that. So now if I run this, and I put nothing in for the height, nothing in for the weight, it should take my default. Should, being the opportune word, should take my default values, which were 72 and 185. So I'm going to leave it blank, click calculate, it says that it stopped. And it's telling me to open the app again. Did set that equal to 0. And if that's the case, set that. If that's the case, set that BMI value equal. Those should both be set now. I'm not sure what's making the app stop. Let's see if it still works if I put regular numbers in here. So 72, 185. That's working. Clear is working. So we're still running into a couple of problems here. Default height of 72, default weight. Height equals default height, weight equals default weight. So by that time, we should have a value in weight, we should have a value in height. Trying to figure out why. Oh, how about this, times 703.0. Don't think that would matter, but you never know. Let's try to run it again. Says that it stopped. So evidently, even though I'm trying to put a hook in there, and this isn't the way you typically would put a hook in, but even though I put a hook in there that says if it's equal to nothing, what if we tried this and we just said, if this is the case, just return. If this is the case, just return. All right, so if there's nothing in there, it should return. I have no idea if it'll like this, if it'll work any differently, but I'm just trying some stuff here. I can come in and do a try catch. I guess that'd be the next thing to attempt in there. I was trying to do a faster way though. Nope, doesn't like that. All right. So I'm going to come in here and try this. Try to do this. And I'm going to catch a number format exception. And if that happens, not sure if what I'm about to do will work or not. I'm going to say result equal non-numeric input for height and or weight. So I'm going to set that, And I'm going to see after I set that if I can just return. We'll see if that works. Let's save it all. Probably should be doing this off the top of my head. I should have done a better job of testing it first, and for that I do apologize. Every once in a while when I run this like this, I get no output whatsoever, so I'm wondering, something is hosed here. Let's save, let's do another build, clean, build, rebuild project. One more build, clean, build, rebuild project, and let's run it and see what happens. Good news is that cleaned up in here, so if I get some kind of an error, ideally it will show it to me in here. Execution failed. See compiler output for details. 2 errors, 0 warnings. Okay. See complete output in console. Event log. Two errors, but I'm trying to find those errors. Well, it's pretty obvious here it doesn't like something I'm doing. I mean, that's no surprise to anyone, but let's try this. And that is, let's come down here and let's not even do the try catch. Let's suppose that the user will put in valid information. All right? So we're going to come back and we're going to actually oh, you know what? I removed the actual, oh my goodness. Want this back. No, that wasn't the try, that's right. All right, so let's do this. We're going to assume that the user put in valid information. Doggone it. There. So we're assuming they put in valid information. All right, so if the height is less than the max height, or the height is greater than the max height. That should, the first one should have been min, but that's fine, we'll fix that. So if it's less than a minimum, or it's greater than the maximum, I just would like to come in here and say, answer text dot set text, and let's just put a string in there that says out of range height input, and we will return. All right, then we're going to do the same exact thing. But this one is going to be for the weight. Again, it may end up blowing up, and if it does, I'll have to do some more investigatory work on this myself. I apologize. It's one of those days where things aren't exactly working the way that they ideally and optimally would work. Let's try to see now if I put in an out of range value here, if the program is going to accept. And when I say accept it, it's going to accept it by just changing the result text down below and just saying, you know, out of range in weight input or out of range height input. I don't know why occasionally this just seems to freeze up on me. So let's do a build, clean project, build, rebuild project, build, clean project, build, rebuild project, and run with a Nexus one. And it's stopping. Darn. Well, this is perplexing me as it may be you, or maybe you've seen something that I just plain don't see. Height less than min height, or height greater than max height, answer text dot set text, out of range input, and return. This is a void, so that should work. Weight, min weight, weight, max weight, out of range weight, and return. It doesn't like any of those. I'm going to see is if I take this out. So now again, I've removed now. That was all the error checking that I'd put in. Whoops, not quite. So I believe now that's back to the way it was. Ooh, that could have been screwing it up too. right, so that should be equal. That may have been, I don't know. So let's go back and put it back in again and try it one more time. Good golly, Miss Molly. All right. The answer is always in the code, so nothing in there. So let's put out of range stuff. Out of range height input. Good. Out of range weight input. It's now handling those. Good job. All right. The clear still works. Good. So we are able to go in and check for out of range height. Check for out of range weight. All right, so those are both now being handled. I'm not even going to worry about putting no input in there whatsoever. I can try this, okay? If I'm going to try this. Maybe this is just silly to do. I don't know. Okay, so that's saying if that is empty, I'm probably going to rule that I'm even doing this, but oops, that's wrong. X 0.0. All right. BMI value equals that. All right, so if the height has nothing in it, I'm going to try doing the same thing here. And what I'm going to say here is height cannot be empty. Height input left blank and return. All right, in fact, let's just grab all of this, copy, copy, and do the same thing. If weight is blank, then the weight input was left blank in return. Let's check and see if that works. So run the app. I'm already at 25 minutes, so regardless if this works or doesn't work, I guess I will have to do at least one more video. Hopefully it comes up here. I didn't do anything to break it. Good. No, nothing in there. Doggone. So it has to be something in the fact that it is actually attempting to do this regardless, even if there's nothing in there. I don't know if it's skipping this or what it's doing. All right, so I can handle. In fact, I'm just going to take this whole thing here and comment it out. Say here, attempt to validate no input does not work. Okay, I don't want that there. Right. Still has two semicolons in it. Again, I hope that's not what was breaking it. Good golly, Jeffrey. Just in case, I should try it anyway. All right, so now it only has one semicolon. I'm not seeing. Let's look here. Yeah. I'm just going to leave this off. I'm going to grab this, Control X, again. This now, at least, should, let's save, build, let's clean it, build, rebuild, build, clean it, build, rebuild, which is a lot of overkill, but it should handle out of range input now. All right, when I come back, if it does, when I come back in the next lecture, what I'm going to do is to modularize this and see if I can do a little bit of work as far as prettying it up, and maybe we'll even add an image. I don't know. So I was able to do more validation than I had been, in that if I put in an invalid value here or here, so if I come in here, put that in and click calculate, I get out of range height input. That's exactly what I should be getting. And here I get invalid weight input. So that's working. Clear is still working, so all that stuff still works. And I believe at least 72, 333, that's still working. All right, two things I want to do in the next iteration of this. First, I want to get this down to 2 decimal places. Three things I guess I want to do. Second, I want to modularize, and third, I want to pretty it up a little bit. And that'll be the last lecture that I will be coming back with, hopefully at least, shortly. Save all, file, close project. I am going to come in and under BMI right here, I now have a version 1, which is bare bones, a version 2, which did some, where I did some work with the validation. Don't think I need that anymore. Hopefully I don't. And I'm going to come in one more time. In fact, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to copy it. Come over to my version 3 and paste that in. All right. Just about finished with this lecture, so come over here, open a project. Again, you've seen this several times before. Desktop, BMI08, version 3, BMI loading. And because it helped before to do it like this, I'm going to again build, clean, build, rebuild, build, clean, build, rebuild, run it, use my Nexus 1 here. You can see I do have my checks in, the one I said didn't work and the other one, so those are in there. Let's just put in a valid and an invalid and just make sure that indeed they work. And that'll mercifully be it for this lecture. If this doesn't come up, which it looks like it's not, I need to do another build, clean, build, rebuild, build, clean, build, rebuild, I don't normally leave the emulator up like that, but I'm just seeing if I can get it to work. So I guess regardless, this is a good place to stop, so I'll be back with the next lecture shortly.